baseline. Oh, what a play by Ricky Rubio.
Busca la derecha para Love, que intenta una vez más el triple y esta vez sí la pone 3. ¡Con amor! Kevin Love.
Welcome to the Wine and Gold Show, presented by Betway. Thank you for joining us on Valley Sports Ohio. Now, here are your hosts, John Michael and Rafa Hernandez-Brito.
Welcome to the all-new, the premiere episode of the Wine and Gold Show. We are presented by Betway. John Michael and Rafa Hernandez-Brito. We've been rebranded for reasons that still have not been made entirely clear.
I don't want to relate anything to the Titanic, but this is the maiden voyage of the Wine and Gold Show presented by Betway. Hey, we are allowed to change our name.
Yeah.
Why not? Everybody else does.
It's a rebrand.
Yes.
It's a rebrand. We're now officially the show formerly known as Cavs HQ. Again, have you been told a reason for the rebrand? Why is the show now going to be wildly different in your eyes?
I have my opinion, but I think it is more that, the founder of the internet and the Wine and Gold radio show.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
Joe Gabriel,
right. The Wolf, want to take control over everything. So he said, "Why come the TV show should be named the same way?" So
Joe Gabriel, writer for Cavs.com, covers this team. He'll be on the second half of the show with us. He also has the Wine and Gold podcast, right?
Yes. Do you have an angle of why
Wine and Gold
the
Radio?
rebranding?
No, but then again, remember we're the two that weren't told that the show actually won an Emmy in its first season. The show won an Emmy, and the two hosts weren't invited. Weren't invited to the ceremony. So does it surprise you at all? They had tuxes on. They accepted. They had pictures with the award. And
we are hoping that this year we win it again.
Yeah, we found out that we won the Emmy, and we were like, well, boy, that'll be fun to go to the awards. And they were like, no, it happened last week. We have pictures and everything. So it is a brand new show, the Wine and Gold Show.
Yes.
Brand new season. And the preseason has been encouraging. Man, there have been a lot of good things coming out of Cleveland Clinic courts.
The vibe has been great.
Yeah.
What we've seen on the court has been great. And the new faces have been amazing. It's been great to see there's obviously a lot of work to do here, John, and there's a lot of growing to do.
Yeah.
And I think we have the perfect staff with JB and his staff to figure out a way to make all these pieces come together. And obviously, you know how they say you get your feet wet? Well, they're getting the whole body wet by the time we get to the first long road trip. We go out west right away after the opening back-to-back games here at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse.
It's going to be baptism by fire for Evan Mobley, and this man has been as advertised. 8 blocks in the first 4 games of the preseason, all of which stayed in bounds. Big deal, right?
And turned into points.
Right. These are veteran things that the young man is showing already. I personally, we knew about the blocks, right? I mean, the guy in his one season at Southern Cal was phenomenal in terms of rim protection, but how about the switchability that we've seen? We're going to get into the Cavs' length, the big lineup, the jumbo lineup that J.B. Bickerstaff is not going to hesitate to go to as this season begins, but it works because players like Evan Mobley, Jarrett Allen, Lauri Markkanen, they have the ability to get out there on the perimeter. They have the ability to switch on to smaller players, and by the way, that frees up your guards to be more aggressive, get out there knowing that you have that protection behind you, knowing that these guys can switch. It's been all good things. And Evan Mobley has not missed a beat, this kid.
He's shown exactly what the Cavs were hoping we were going to get when we drafted him at the number 3 spot. But you mentioned a couple of things, and I spoke to J.B. Bickerstaff about him while we were on the road on the last preseason road trip. Not only him and Markkanen has shown that they can protect the rim alongside Jarrett Allen, John, but they can actually guard when they slide up, Markkanen on the 3, Mobley on the 4 and 3. And if you talk about the 8th block that Mobley had, yes, they all stayed inbound. And if I'm not mistaken, 7 of them turned out into baskets on the other end and the other one into free throws. But different types of blocks. He blocked Caruso in Chicago in that first game, coming with Caruso falling back, trying to get himself some room, and he was still able to reach out and not to mention all the other shots that he has altered by just being out there, protecting the paint, protecting the rim. So I think we are into going into something that is going to be very exciting, not only for the team but also for the fans, because it is fun to watch what we have in store here.
No question. Athletic, up and down the floor. That block he had on DeMar DeRozan was gorgeous.
Yeah.
And you mentioned Lauri Markkanen, talking a little bit about the Bulls. Markkanen spent his first 4 seasons in Chicago, comes over looking for a new start, and he seems to have fit in seamlessly, not just offensively. And I like a couple of things that happened throughout the course of camp. Markkanen got here, and on the first day he was told by the coaching staff, we have one rule for you, shoot the ball, right? And he said, this is perfect. I love this place, right? I love this place already. But defensively, he's shown a lot. He's shown like he fits in seamlessly. He's been an excellent defensive rebounder. And again, we get it. A small sample size, right? Yeah. It's only been the preseason. But the early returns have really been promising. And if Markkanen can't defend at the 3 spot, at the small forward spot, that's, there's no jumbo lineup, right? That's the key cog. That's the key piece to enable the Cavaliers to go big and go with some of those looks that, in the preseason look pretty darn good.
And I'm sure we'll expand on our conversation later on the show. But one of the best things about Lauri Markkanen is that he matches a very, very important point that Kobe Altman and J.B. Bickerstaff tell everybody here. We want people here that want to be in Cleveland, that want to be part of this team. And Lauri Markkanen has shown, not only you say they told him to shoot, he had a dunk fest the other day against, I think it was Indiana, right? He shows that he can actually damage in the offensive side from all sides of the court. So I think that there's another thing that it is wonderful to see. And, of course, our next guest is very happy to be playing with all these different teammates around him.
Our next guest will be Jarrett Allen, inked to a multi-year deal during the summer. Such a pleasant surprise to acquire Jarrett Allen midway through last season as part of the James Harden deal. Not a surprise that the Cavs go out and say, look, this is our center of the future. We want this guy here long-term, and Jarrett seems thrilled about that. We're going to catch up with Jarrett as this first half of the show rolls along. One other addition that deserves mentioning, Jarrett Allen, of course, there you see the numbers from what he has done, and, it projects well for this Cavalier team. Allen last season averaging a double-double for the first time in his career. Lauri Markkanen, part of that jumbo group. Evan Mobley, part of that jumbo group. A veteran brought in to settle things down. This guy's been a huge breath of fresh air. How about Ricky Rubio? Fresh off his, by the way, 38-point performance against the Americans in the Olympics. He was just sensational for the Spanish national team. Ricky, it has that feel that when everything is on the floor going, Ricky is... right? Ricky just settles things down. He gets everybody in the groove, and that's precisely what you bring in a guy like that to do. And he has already embraced that leadership role that you can ask Anthony Edwards, the Timberwolves. You can ask Devin Booker of the Suns. You can ask, Mitchell with the Jazz. This is what Ricky Rubio does. He enjoys that role, and he has been perfect. He has been perfect for this Cavalier team.
And the best part about it, John, is that the first thing he said was, I can't wait to talk to J.B. Bickerstaff and find out what my role will be with this team, and I will do that role. And this is the guy that he's okay with coming off the bench. He's fine if he's called upon starting. And one of the things we talked about earlier about how these pieces are going to meld together, we know that it doesn't matter who the other 4 players are when Ricky Rubio is on the floor. He'll find a way to play with those 4.
Yeah, it's been fun watching him slow things down, being that general out there with that second unit. J.B. Bickerstaff said, look, this guy's going to play starter minutes this season. Jarrett Allen, straight ahead. He's fun, right? This is on and off the floor a phenomenal addition to this Cavalier team.
I got a couple surprises for him.
You do?
Yeah.
All right. Let's take a look at straight ahead after this break. Jarrett Allen right here on the Wine and Gold Show, presented by Betway.
Woohoo!
And we welcome you back to the Wine and Gold Show. And look who we have here as our featured guest. It is Jarrett Allen. Jarrett, this is the premiere episode of this particular show, so I know this is a big appearance for you. So try
Absolutely.
to stay loose,
I'm good.
shrug your shoulders a little bit, deep breaths, everything else. Hey, first things first, congratulations. You inked the multi-year deal during the offseason. You said upon signing that something about this Cleveland fan base and this organization that makes you feel at home. Can you elaborate on that?
First, I'm just going to talk about Cleveland in general. Just seeing how they responded to the Indians, how they responded to the Browns, and now the Cavaliers. It's just a good vibe of just the culture throughout the city. And then with the team, everybody's fighting for the same goal. You see guys staying late after practice to shoot. You see guys that are hungry, and that just attracted me more here.
Do you feel like this team, and maybe yourself individually, has a chip on your shoulder coming into this season?
Absolutely. We performed not as well as we wanted to last year. We want to prove that the Cavs aren't just going out there to play basketball. We're going out there to compete every second.
Obviously, Jarrett, the trade came in. I don't know if it was as much as a surprise to you as it was to us when they say, James Harden goes to Brooklyn, these guys get this, these guys get that, and the Cavaliers get Jarrett Allen.
That was the best part.
Yeah, it was the best morning tweet I ever read in my life. But and it was obviously a weird season for everybody with everything going on in the world with the pandemic.
Right.
Has it changed a lot? Have you gotten to see a little more of Cleveland, and now that you have a little more freedom to do with your time off?
When I first heard the news, I was like, Joakim Noah said it. Who goes to Cleveland for vacation? I was like, Cleveland, really? And then I came here in the dead of winter. I didn't see the sun for 2 weeks. So I'm like, man, this is tough. But everybody kept saying, wait for summer, wait for summer. Oh, the summers are beautiful here. I went out to some park. People were paragliding, parasailing. I'm like, and it was good weather. I was feeling it. It's good to be here.
So you got it to know the city around. But another thing I wanted to ask you about, and you mentioned about guys staying late. Everybody came in early to camp.
Absolutely.
So when camp opened officially for the league, you guys have been here for like 3 weeks. So how much of that do you think is going to help you guys, whether it's chemistry, whether it's getting to know each other, whether it's getting to play together? Is that going to be a lot of help, you think?
It is. A lot of us came probably like 2-3 weeks before camp started. We were playing pickup basketball, just learning how each other play, just learning the ins and outs of how we're going to play this season. So I feel like we really got a head start over all the other teams that the vets just show up the day of training camp. We were here before working on our craft.
Here's the big question as we talk about camp. What's it feel like at 6'11" to be the 4th tallest player out there on the floor?
It's weird. Everybody, I'm boxing out Taco, and Taco's just, grabbing it. I'm like a little kid out there, And then Evan, it's good to have another big back there blocking shots with me. It's weird not being the tallest anymore, but it's a blessing at the same time.
Go ahead.
You're a guy that usually people look up to you. And we've seen a couple of instances where you were interviewing Taco Media.
I've never seen anything like that. I'm a 6'11" guy.
I know the shot that I took was kind of like angled in a way, and then another one you're like holding, you got your arm around his shoulder. Yeah. But you really tried to get up there.
I was. That man is huge. He's a big man.
And a nice guy.
And a nice guy. Nicest guy ever.
Yeah.
JB's experimented with the jumbo lineup.
Yes.
And the early returns are really promising.
Oh, it was great. It was great. They were joking on the court, the Bulls. What is this, 2001? They were joking like it's just we had the big after big after big, but it worked because we all are mobile and we all can switch.
And we saw that too a number of times. Lauri Markkanen, a 7-footer, starts out a small forward at the 3. But many times throughout the course of this was the game against Chicago. In the preseason, you would switch on to Lowry's man. Evan would switch on to Lowry's man. It seemed effortless. Is that something? Clearly, it looks like that's something you're comfortable with in your skill set, right?
Absolutely, I'm comfortable with it. I feel like I can move with some guards, and at the same time, if you blow by me, you're beating one 6'11" for another 7-footer. So I'm a short one now.
The little guy in the
little
jumbo
guy.
lineup.
You're going past the little guy. Now you got an even taller guy at the rim, so it works.
What about on the offensive side though? Because you also create some havoc on the other side because not only it might get a little crowded inside, but also there's room to roam around and in the perimeter.
You have to respect size down there, and just having us down there. Larry's a knockdown shooter. Evan's improving his shot. I'm working on it. I'm not as good as those guys, but we have spacing with size, which is important.
Last season, you averaged a double-double for the first time in your career. Now, of course, some of that has to do with minutes. You got the minutes, you got the starts at the end of last season. Do you set statistical or metric-type goals for yourself coming into a season?
Yeah, I do. It's something that it's like a goal. If you put a goal out there, it makes you play harder. Let's just be honest. For everybody, it's just something to strive for. So I definitely put a goal of having a double-double for the season last year, and I finally got it.
For Media Day, the digital team on the Cavs gave Taco Fall a GoPro camera. He was shooting around, and I was around when you were correcting Taco about that it's not the afro, but it's the fro.
The fro, right.
And it's become your signature. You're basically the fro of the NBA. When did that come about? When did the fro made his first appearance? Because I have this picture of you at the Golden Gate Bridge.
Oh my God!
How old were you?
I might have been. At least 7th grade. 8th. No, I had to be high school.
When did you decide that it was going to be your stamp?
To be honest, I got tired of cutting my hair. I got lazy.
That's that simple?
It was that simple. I was
like,
I'm just going to keep growing it out. And then Iron Eagle, you know. Oh, the fro show, that's the fro down. And I was like, I can roll with this. This is nice.
Maintenance-wise, most difficult part is what?
When I go to sleep, it pushes on the side, it will stay like that. So in the morning, it's like, just sticks up.
And then I saw you during the summer, you kind of had it like put together.
Yeah, I pulled it back during the summer because it gets hot. It gets hot in the summer, and now it went back to Texas. So there's no way I'm being in Texas in the summer with that.
And as we all know, Jarrett is, how would you describe, not a nerd, but like a techie guy?
Nerd, you threw out there.
I know, because, and that's why I dressed appropriately. From the Albert Einstein shirt.
You're not a nerd, he
No,
just said.
because he likes science, and you're here with two mechanical engineers, So we
True nerd, actual nerds.
Yeah. We share a little bit of the love for science. But I wanted to ask you about, obviously we all know you signed your 5-year contract. And will you spend money the way they have been spending going up to space? And that's my question to you. Do you consider that going to space? I think it's kind of an insult to astronauts that actually orbit the Earth. To this rich dude that actually can get on a plane and go hit zero gravity, float for like, a minute or two and come back down. Do you consider that a trip to space?
I do.
You do?
If you go ask Jeff Bezos, you can be like, damn, he went to space.
Yeah.
He did zero. As cheating as it feels, he did it. I gotta respect it.
He got higher than everybody else did.
Exactly.
Right? Will you do that?
If I get the chance, I probably would.
Yeah.
That's one thing I can hold above everybody's head.
You hold a lot of things. They're going to need a custom-made, aircraft to get you up? I don't know. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of room.
Money spent in getting up there. They both did it in different ways. It's cool. If I was to try it, I would like to put on the whole suit and do the whole re-entry thing and everything.
Second show, maybe you guys could do that.
I want to be in a spot where I can actually take a picture of myself so I can show Kyrie the Earth is not flat,
Right, give it a little peace sign.
Yeah, I think it would be amazing to see from up there what we always see in pictures, right?
That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome.
Just
give me an exit row.
Critically important.
An exit row.
All basketball players
in space.
Need an exit row. Need an aisle row. Need an exit row. Jarrett, so when did this start? So when did this, come about, this love for science? And everybody's made a lot of the, Jarrett took apart a toaster. No, it wasn't a toaster. It was a computer, everybody.
Let's just changing. It went from a radio
I don't know what it was.
Remote control.
Straighten out. What was the story?
When I was younger, I had the nickname Bam Bam from my mom.
All right.
I used to take apart every single thing I got my hands on. And then my dad used to have me watching, when I was young, Alien, Predator. I'm only 5 years old watching this stuff. Star Wars, just any science fiction thing out there. I just always grew up on that.
You're one of the few players that I actually got to know before you came to Cleveland.
Right.
We used to talk when you were warming up, with the Nets and everything else. And you wear the same pair of sneakers all season long.
In practice too.
In practice.
It is amazing because some people, like we know some guys that wear a new pair every game, right?
Right.
What's the story with that?
So they aren't the same exact pair. They're a new pair of the same shoe.
Okay. But how many pairs do you wear during the season? Like how many different pairs?
Maybe 2 or 3.
Really?
Yeah,
But that's still like.
I know.
That's still not as many as.
No,
I
it's
mean, we
not.
know guys that use 3 pairs in a day.
Yeah, like a PJ Tucker.
Yeah.
Like he has mountains of shoes, and I'm here with my 3 modest pairs.
It's interesting when you look around the NBA. Are there moments for you, Jarrett, a play, a couple of plays, a rejection, a dunk, something that stands out to you as maybe a signature moment on the floor in the NBA?
One of my favorite moments is it was my first game getting traded here. I dunked on Joe Harris.
Yeah.
That's my guy. That's my guy, Joe Harris.
We all love Joe Harris. We still love him around here too, right?
You guys know. So I got the dunk on him. I went over to their locker room after the game, and I was just giving them crap about the whole play. So that's gonna stick with me forever.
How odd was that when you got your first game that you got to play was against the Nets,
Right.
And then we beat them.
We beat
twice,
yeah.
right? It was the first game that the big 3 played together.
Yeah,
that's right.
In triple
and
overtime.
we won the game. Yeah.
In triple,
Won
and it was
back-to-back
like-
games actually against them, right?
And it was crazy. It's like they call a play, I'm already there. All right, I'm running my old plays, and then it was an adjustment because I'm learning Cavs basketball while playing against the basketball that I'm used to. But it was a great experience. Just like that first triple overtime game or double over, whatever it was just a great intro to the Cavs basketball.
We'll be right back with more of the Wine and Gold Show, presented by Betway.
Now that you're the $100 million man, do you have to buy dinner for the guys on the road or anything like that?
Yeah, I try to, even though it's known by everybody, I don't try to flaunt it. I might take everybody out to Chick-fil-A or something.
So we're here at training camp, Jarrett. For those who don't know you as well off the floor, right? What happens now? You go home from practice, and what happens is you get ready for practice tomorrow, you get ready for the rest of the preseason, even things like, is there a TV show that you binge watch? What happens when you're off the floor?
So this is going back to my nerd part. I have my 3D printer, right? So I've been printing stuff, and I'm gonna print a Star Wars helmet. Yeah, I love Star Wars.
Are you a Star Wars guy?
Oh, I absolutely
my
love
God,
Star
man.
Wars.
You just fell down like a little.
Do
your thing. So you're printing a 3D Star Wars helmet?
3D Star Wars helmet, a Scout Trooper helmet. This is how nerdy I am.
We need to see pictures of that, man. Come on.
I'm working on it right now.
Oh, you
I'll
are
show you a
working on it.
picture. I'll show you a picture.
Yeah,
So
that's pretty cool.
Go home, work on that, and then get ready for the game.
And what is it printed on? Is it like hard carton? Or what kind of
No.
material do you use?
So imagine like a spool of rope, right? But it's a plastic filament that they made super thin, and then they melt it, and then just move it around in a circle. Once you get the first layer, you move up a tiny bit, then you do it again, and then it
but he's
just
not a
forms.
That was
Call me what you want. Call me what you want.
I'm
Proud of it. I'm proud.
Before we let you go, a message to Cavs fans who, and I speak for a lot of folks here in Northeast Ohio, are thrilled to have you on board, thrilled to have you as the center of the future for this team. Your thoughts as we say goodbye?
Cavs fans, just get ready for an amazing year. We have a lot of young, hungry guys that are ready to play basketball.
Now, on many shows like this, you get a gift for joining us. You get a Rolex. You get, we have swag back in the green room. This is not one of those shows.
Okay. Okay.
Just trying to. But we were able to.
Oh,
bring you
no.
You were asked, when you're on the road, are you going to, splurge, buy your teammates something, nice dinner? And you said, well, maybe I'll get them Chick-fil-A. As we know, it's your favorite. Here's what we got for you. What's your go-to at Chick-fil-A?
At Chick-fil-A, I'm a spicy chicken sandwich guy.
That
one of
is
those in there.
Precisely what we got you. So, congratulations. Just in case you need a couple extra bucks, we thought we'd chip in.
Man,
For
I'm living big now.
By
I'm
the
living
way,
large.
I'm still working on getting us an interview with the space station.
Oh,
so
yes.
we can actually talk to them. And he already said he
that'd be
would do it. I'm in
amazing.
contact with NASA already to see if we can. I saw an interview the other day, some high school kids. I'm like, why can't we do it? So I contacted NASA, and they're going to get back to me. But I told them Jarrett would join us on the interview to talk to the space station guys.
We should do an in-person interview.
Oh, man,
Let's
now
go
you're
up
really
there. Let's go up there.
Not even I can pull that off. Let me talk to Jeff Bezos. See if he can lend us.
We'll see what we can do. Jared, it is always great catching up.
It was
Have
great.
a fantastic season.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Back with more right after this.
We welcome you back inside the cozy confines of Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. It is time for Cavs in the Community.
Yes.
It is brought to you, as always, by Discount Drug Mart. And for this show, the premiere episode, it's Rafa in the community.
Really?
Yeah, Rafa
Well,
in the community.
not really Rafa, but more the Hispanic community
Yeah.
that celebrated Hispanic
great.
Heritage Month from September 15th to October 15th. And this is not the only version that you're going to get from our celebration. But one of them was last week I got a chance. I got an invitation through Instagram from Mrs. Sanchez, Spanish teacher at Sandusky Central Catholic School. And she invited me to come and speak to the students about, the Hispanic Heritage Month celebration and my story, how I came to the U.S. and everything. So I did go. And thanks to Lucy Veras from Community Relations, she gave me a couple of autograph balls to raffle.
Very nice.
Because I hate to show up empty-handed,
Yeah.
And I also
Or to
invited
go
them.
home empty-handed.
Yeah,
But
I
go ahead.
invited them already without even asking for tickets yet to Noche Latina, which we'll celebrate on March 19th here at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. So it was great. I always enjoy talking to people about the wonderful experience it is to meet people from other cultures.
Yeah.
It happened to me almost every day. And I think, languages, because they were from the Spanish class, it opens so many doors for everybody. So I was happy to see that a school with such little Hispanic attendance, Hispanic students actually care to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month, and we have fun. We talked about my story. We talked about how I made it into broadcasting, and more than anything else, I think it was just thrilling to see the interest from other cultures and trying to celebrate what we bring to the community.
Rewarding, isn't it? Great stuff.
Yes.
Good job. Very nice. We'll be back with more right after this. Joe Gabriel, straight ahead on the Wine and Gold Show, presented by Betway.
Here at the Wine and Gold Radio Show, we kind of usually do like lines, over under and stuff. And I want to ask Joe G here, what's the over under on technical fouls on Coach Giroux next season?
It's gonna be like for JB. I'm gonna go like 7.5.
Really?
Well, because I said this to one of our PR guys, Jeff Schaefer. I said JB is such a nice guy. It's like he bottles it all up and saves it for the rest. He saves it for him, I think Dan's going to be around like 1.5. Really? Yeah, I think it's going to be low.
I'll go over, man.
I'll tell you what, if Dan starts getting technicals, I'm definitely going down to watch games. Yeah. I want to see that.
I love that. Welcome, Joe Gabriel of Cavs.com. You know what's so interesting to me? When you see a coach in any league, it's not just the NBA, go from assistant coach to head coach. How many times that coach as an assistant is very kind and he's a player's coach and gets along with the guys, maybe the conduit between players and head coach, turns into a head coach and wildly different. I don't know. Big Dan's kind, gentle human as an assistant. We don't know Big Dan as a head coach yet.
Well, the one thing I love that he said was in the NBA, I once heard this quote that they said, two people you can't fool are little kids and NBA players. In that they can see through. If you're not authentic, Dan said it. He's comfortable in his own skin.
Right.
He said it in the interview with us. If you're not authentic, they'll see right through you. Dan is Dan. He's lovable, but I don't know how he's going to be. I don't know if he'll be able to be bad cop.
I can't picture him getting a technical, which is what made me think about that. But I guarantee he's going to get a couple.
I like what you ask him, and we'll talk about it where you can listen to it about it later. But he's going from being good cop to being bad cop.
Well,
so he's the assistant that everybody loves.
That's what I mean. That's exactly what I'm saying. Right.
Now guys are going to go to Dan's assistants and be like, hey, man, the head coach is a jerk.
I'm really having problems with Dan.
So what
that
do
guy.
you would take, over or under on JB?
Well, I adjusted it. I made it 6.5 because I think I might have said, I don't even know
Are
what
you
number.
counting preseason?
No, because he already got one in preseason.
Yeah.
That way, I think if you extrapolated that, he'd get 16 technicals.
Yeah.
But 6.5. And I believe that JB saves all his bad mood for the refs.
Are we picking this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
So I mean, a new show.
Over,
We've been rebranded, Joe. I don't know if you noticed that.
Sorry.
He's the reason why.
Yeah, we're the Wine and Gold show now. The show is wildly different now this season here. The Wine and Gold show.
Presented by Betway.
But Joe, in the old version of the show, Cavs HQ would always bring something new every week. This week it is over under, and we're ready for those. So
I have a mishmash. I have a lot of I have over under.
Oh.
Let's jump right into it. Let's
Yes.
jump right into it. JB Bickerstaff technical fouls.
So I was
6.5.
going to say, are we picking that over under? That's a good one.
Over
That's
under.
a good number too.
6.5.
That's a good number.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got?
Well, judging by what he's projected in the one in 5 games, I take the over.
I'll go just to be fun. I'll say under, but that's a really good number. I think it's right. I think it's right around
That
there.
gets action on both
Right.
ends.
I think he gets a few early, sticks them in the pocketbook, and then he says, "Yeah."
Right.
So I wouldn't necessarily project it out. I'll say under for the sake of argument. What do you have?
Dan, I'm going to say over, but I'm going to say for Dan Giroux, 2.5. He's such a nice guy, man. I can't see him.
I say under.
I say under.
I say
think that's
one
under,
tops.
That's what I say.
I say one
he
tops.
gets one just to get one.
But remember, not all technical fouls are because the coach just is upset.
Well,
A lot. No, but
Yeah.
a couple of them might be because he wants to get his guys.
Well, right.
You know,
I mean, but the coach has to get upset to get the technical to get his
I
guys
know,
fired
but
up.
sometimes he don't want to watch what's going on. So he just, you know what, get me out of here. So I'll take under.
Under, okay.
All right.
Of the 29 visiting arenas that we go to, obviously have PA announcers. How many will get Lowry Markkanen's first name wrong? I'm going to say 4.5. Over under.
Here's the thing, though. Lowry's been in the league,
I understand that.
right? And
I got it wrong when he first got here. He's been in the league. I got it wrong.
Chicago had it right for the 4 years. I mean, for the 4 years we were in Chicago, we were told it was Lowry.
Yeah.
So
Lowry.
I'm saying under.
You're going to say under?
I'm saying under because I think that they should have this known by now.
I'll say over.
I would think so.
Detroit plus 3.5. Yeah, over.
Okay, over. And then it's a two-part question. 29.5 seconds before B.J. Evans, our PR director, under. Goes down under?
Under.
Yeah.
Oh, that's definitely Goes
Way
down
under.
there and tightens them up right away.
9.5 seconds is a better.
Here's a little off basketball. Who wins a fight between the Browns punter and the Steelers punter?
Have you seen the Steelers?
The Steelers punter is a big dude, man.
Have you
Yes.
seen? Have you seen the
Browns punter's got
Scottish
some,
Hammer? Whatever his name
he's got
is?
some big guns.
Dude, his thighs are
That
like
is
this.
that is an excellent question.
That'd be a tough one because Steelers punter. That guy's
This is
that's a
before-
man's
He's
punter.
255.
255. Yeah.
Where would the fight be? Here in Cleveland?
That's another good question.
Is that before or after going to the
Muni
Flying
Lot
Monkey?
or Heinz Field? Where
I'm
was
going
it?
to say in Cleveland, and you can't hit each other with your helmets,
Before or after going to the Flying Monkey?
which in Steeler Browns combat is legal.
Yeah,
You
I
can-
like the question.
I
It's a good
gotta
question.
take the Scottish Hammer.
Okay.
It's a good question. Fine.
Here's a very straight question. Which
Ready.
starter will lead the Cavs in scoring this year?
Which starter will lead the Cavs in scoring?
I think you have to stay with Colin. I don't think there's any question.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I don't think. Who do you like? Somebody else?
No.
I wondered if it might be Darius Garland. Might
I
sneak in
think
there.
Darius will see a Darius's points per game last season were nice. I mean,
Yeah,
I think that
and-
was something that went under the radar. His shooting was excellent. We see his passing continuing to improve.
Yeah.
Basically, each and week by week by week, he put up some pretty good points. I think you have to stick with Colin though.
Okay.
I don't think
I
there's any-
think I'll stay with Colin, especially because now you add, Markkanen and Mobley, who will be taking some of
Right.
that offense. So I'll stick with
Yeah,
Colin
I would-
being the scoring leader.
I think it's worth reminding folks too that when you have a young big like Evan Mobley, I mean, this guy is not going to score 20, 25 points per game.
No.
This is not what players like
Especially as a
that
rookie.
do at the age of 20, right? At the
No.
we're trying to get into the league. You look at some of the numbers of anybody. DeAndre Ayton's a perfect example. Went number 1 overall a couple of seasons ago. His first few years, numbers are low. We saw him blossom into what he's become for Phoenix, particularly in the postseason. So again, for those expecting big points numbers out of Evan, that's not what's going to happen more than likely in his rookie campaign.
No, he should. I mean, but I'm looking forward to big things from him on both sides.
Yeah, I love the guy. I'm just right.
No, I guess I would probably go with Colin. I probably would go with Colin. But here's the other question: is who will lead the reserves in scoring? Who will be the top?
I think Lowry will be the easy.
I think it's got to be Lowry.
Pick, yeah.
Unless you like Ricky.
If he's coming off the bench,
you have to throw Kevin Love in there. You have to. I mean, so there is.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Lowry.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
So judging from what we have seen, how the rotation might go, you know, in the regular season, what we saw in the preseason, and how well he looked in the system, and especially after they told him that the only rule is shoot.
Yeah, right.
I think it's going to be interesting. We have time for one more question after this. It's the starting five plus first three off the bench are veterans: Ricky Rubio, Kevin Love, Lowry Markkanen. Right? I mean, the 9 and 10 spots. I think I don't know if they're still to be decided. I mean, that's a decision that's going to be made heading into the season. But JB even indicated that might shift. I mean, that might be on a game-by-game basis because you have Dean Wade, you have Dylan Windler, you have Jetty Osmond, how about Lamar Stevens?
Yeah.
You know, and other, there are other options. Denzel Valentine on this roster as well. So there's, other players to be looked at, but that's a storyline coming into the season. Who's going to fill those 9 and 10 spots, and how that rotation is going to look as we get set for the start of the year. All right, one more.
This is totally not basketball. If Rafa had to do a vow of silence, how long would he last? I had a 19.5 minutes, but I'm thinking seconds now.
Under what circumstances? Like, does he have to be out and about? Could he be sitting in his apartment?
Let's say out and about. How long could you go out and about?
Time.
Not a chance.
A long time?
Yeah, out and about. I'm not that much talkative off the air.
Okay. I'd say under.
All right.
Huh?
I'd say under. If you're out and about, under. I think he can sit in his room for 19
say
minutes, but that's about it. I'll give him that. But out and about, under.
That's all I have for you.
Don't forget to tune in. Wherever you consume your audio on demand, your podcast, Facebook, Spotify, Cavs.com.
Yes.
The Wine and Gold Radio podcast with yours truly and Georgie, or the other way around, Georgie and yours truly. And we already have the first episode out.
Yeah.
And we actually discussed something that's very important, like Stones or Beatles. What about you? I know you're a disco guy, but
see, I actually even get the disco reference. I get the Paul McCartney. I get the reference. I like them both. I mean, I like them both.
I used to.
We talked about it because Sir Paul McCartney called the Stones a blues cover band.
That was a little
and Rafa
ridiculous.
was deeply offended.
Ridiculous. And by the way, they last week the Stones played at SoFi Stadium in LA. And during the concert, Mick Jagger said, "We're gonna play a blues song because Paul McCartney is in the stands."
Interesting topics just like this on Wine and Gold Radio. Catch it on your audio podcast. We'll be back with more right after this. Thank you, Joseph. Back here on the Wine and Gold Show, presented by Betway. The Cavs in the regular season coming out hot. They get tested right off the bat. Do the Cavaliers? The schedule does not do the Cavs any favors. 6 of the first 8 and 8 of the first 11 games are on the road. 19 of the first 25 are against playoff teams from last season, and that does not count 2 games against Charlotte and 1 against Golden State, teams knocked out in the play-in tournament. So that's 22 out of 25. And here's a look. The first week, Grizzlies on the road, then a back-to-back Hornets-Hawks to open up the home schedule. Should be fun. And then a bear of a road trip that takes the Cavs to the West Coast, then all the way back after that Suns game you see there. The Cavs are in Charlotte to complete the trip.
So we basically see everybody that had either been in the play-in tournament or in playoffs. But I think the most important one is the home opener, the back-to-back games here at home at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse with 2 very young teams that are trying to make a lot of noise in the Eastern Conference. So I think those, we're going to be out west, but I think those 2 right to get off the home game started, John, are going to be very, very telling for what this season has in store for the Cavs.
Now, the players, the coaches, they've been asked about this, and they said, look, yes, is it going to be difficult to navigate this first stretch, yeah. But they're not making any excuses. They're going to compete. They've said, we're going to come back a better team regardless of the outcome, and we're looking to make some noise, right? We're going to attack this trip and learn a lot about ourselves.
Let me ask you a question, because I know we're going to sneak up on some people, either because it's early in the season or because they take us for granted. Do you think it's an advantage or disadvantage to go out west so early and face Denver, the two LA teams, Phoenix, who just came off from being in the finals? I mean, everybody's still coming together.
It's a really good question, and I think it's a team-by-team basis.
Yeah.
I think you look at some of those teams out west, and they're humming already. Even though, again, we talked about this before, the preseason, who knows? I mean, you buy into the metrics from the preseason, maybe not buy into the metrics, who knows? It's a tune-up time. Some of those teams, though, appear already to be well-oiled. Other teams, like you look at L.A., and again, yeah, it's preseason, but they didn't win a game. The veterans are at L.A., the Lakers, that is. Are they going to come out of the gates well? I don't know. Might it be advantageous to catch a team like that the first 5-10 games of the season? Maybe. I mean, teams with new personnel trying to get used to Russell Westbrook out there. The Clippers are trying to figure out how to navigate a season without Kawhi Leonard. So I think it's a team-by-team basis based a lot upon personnel and where the team happens to be coming into the season.
We start the season on Wednesday against Memphis, but Tuesday is going to be very interesting because for the first time in the history of the NBA, 2 banners will be raised up to the rafters because the Bucks will raise theirs that just recently won, and the Lakers will raise theirs, who they've been waiting to have fans back in Staples Center to raise their championship banner that was also in the same year the Bucks the Bucks won it. So it should be interesting for basketball fans to get off the bat with those two guys celebrating the championship.
When you say fans, it just brings a smile to my face,
yes.
Right? I mean, it's about time, and here we go. And you want to talk about just excitement for this season, just having our fans back where they belong in the seats is going to be a treat. We're only hours away.
And before we go, speaking about fans at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, you should take advantage of the monthly pass that the Cavaliers make available. And it's $49 in Loudville or $89 in the first level for all the home games in October and November. That includes the Nets coming in, Boston, Phoenix.
Some really good games.
So it's please, Cavs.com/monthly if you want to come and get like 9-10 games for $89 or $49.
It's going to be fun.
I'm in.
It's going to be a fun team to watch. We'll close up shop right after this. Well, the premiere episode of the Wine and Gold Show presented by Betway is just about in the books. As you can tell, it was wildly different than the show formerly known.
Can I make a
Cavs
suggestion?
HQ. Yeah, you can.
Whoever is the music producer.
Yeah.
Can we get like at least new music in the show?
It was a new show. It was a new show.
Right?
I'm under the impression that it's a new show.
Is Big Daddy in charge?
It's the Wine and Gold Show. I don't know if Marty Allen's
audio production.
I think we won Best Musical Score in a show previously in the Emmys. Another Emmy award presentation that we did not get invited to, but I think we need to work on that.
If Big Daddy goes instead of me, I mean, I don't care.
He can go. Yeah. I'm okay with that. I don't believe he was there to accept the Emmy, although I'd be comfortable with Marty picking up our first Emmy from our new Wine and Gold Show presented by Betway. He's Rafa. I'm John. So long, everybody.
Adios.